Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Now what we're witnessing in the market is nothing short of a turning point for several crypto projects, especially those that have stood the test of time, weathered multiple storms, endured harsh winters, and still managed to grow. These aren't the hype-driven coins that flare up and fade out. No, these are foundational projects, and among them, Stellar XLM stands out. And you know what's refreshing? Seeing leaders in the space, who you'd technically call competitors, acknowledge each other's success with genuine respect. Take Charles Hoskinson, for example. He's the founder of Cardano and someone who's been vocal, passionate, and sometimes controversial, but always real. And even though Cardano and Stellar might operate in similar sectors, what we're seeing is not rivalry, but support. It mirrors what Brad Garlinghouse from Ripple XRP said in the past, that instead of working against each other, leaders in blockchain should be building together, pushing the space forward. And honestly, I couldn't agree more. This kind of collaboration-minded spirit is rare, especially in a market as cutthroat and speculative as crypto. But it's this exact maturity, this long-term vision, that separates real projects from fleeting trends. Shout out to Charles Hoskinson and everyone who shares this mindset. Now, if you've been in crypto for more than a couple of months, none of this, these corrections, these bursts, these support holds, should come as a surprise. You've seen the bull markets, you've endured the bear markets, you've seen narratives change on a dime, and yet what has remained constant is how builders keep building. The teams behind Stellar, XLM, XRP, Cardano, they've been in it for the long haul. FUD doesn't shake them. Volatility doesn't faze them. These projects stayed the course. Let's focus in on Stellar. XLM, the native token of the Stellar blockchain, has been steadily proving itself. While others slowed down or pivoted, Stellar kept improving. They've been expanding partnerships, enhancing their network, and focusing on real-world utility. It's only now, after consistent hard work, that they're beginning to see the rewards, and not just in terms of price action, but in adoption and recognition from institutional players. All right, so let's get into the numbers and the technicals. As we kick off this new week, we are seeing a slight retracement in the market. Nothing major, just a minor cool down, and guess what? That's because Bitcoin saw a small pullback. Now, before we get dramatic, let's get something straight. Nothing, I repeat, nothing in the market goes straight up forever. It's simply not how markets work. Corrections are part of the game. They're necessary. They cleanse the FOMO, shake out the weak hands, and prepare the ground for the next leg up. Looking at XLM, even with the current dip, the numbers are incredible. We're talking about an 81.7% increase on the weekly time frame. Yes, you heard that right. Over 80% in just 7 days. That's not your average pump. That's momentum building up. That's market confidence returning. That's smart money moving. Now, zooming into the 24-hour chart, we're seeing about a 10.4% retracement, with XLM currently trading at 4528. Also, it's down about 10% against Bitcoin. But despite this dip, the fundamentals remain strong. Stellar's market cap is holding firm at around $14 billion, and the 24-hour trading volume sitting nicely at $2.7 billion. That's not noise, that's activity, that's liquidity, that's a community that's alive. Now here's something critical. Look at the Bitcoin Dominance Index. At the time of recording, it stands at 64.51%. That's high. Historically, when dominance is this elevated, altcoins tend to take a back seat. But what's interesting is that we're starting to see the early signs of a shift. We haven't retested the 65.1% dominance mark yet, which could mean that altcoin season is approaching. And let's be honest, over the last week, altcoins have been crushing it. Bitcoin's minor dip is also worth analyzing. We saw it hit about $123,000 earlier today before it retraced. Putting things into context, Bitcoin has dropped roughly 4%, which is healthy. You need these cool down periods to build a solid support base. Just 2 weeks ago in early July, we were hovering around $105,000, which means we saw a surge of 17–18%. That's a massive move in a short time. So a 4% correction? That's nothing to panic about. In fact, it's healthy, it's needed. If you've been tracking this channel, you'll know I always emphasize support zones. You don't want your favorite project just flying blindly without support beneath it. Because if momentum dries up and there's no foundation to catch the fall, that's when things get ugly. But Bitcoin is holding well. It's consolidating exactly where you'd want it to, above previous resistance, which has now flipped into support. That's a strong bullish signal. Currently, we're rebounding around $119,000. And if Bitcoin can reclaim the 120K plus range, I personally believe we'll see another push toward new highs. But again, consolidation is key. Don't sleep on sideways movement. It's often the calm before the next big wave. All right, enough about Bitcoin. Let's circle back to Stellar XLM. I know a lot of you are here specifically for that. Let's look back just 24 hours ago. We hit 51.8 cents, a major psychological and technical level. We retested it, hit resistance, and pulled back. Now we've corrected about 13%, but here's the catch. This isn't just any random support. This level has acted as a support zone since 2018, popped back up in 2022, and now it's playing its role again in 2025. That's strong historical relevance. The more times a support holds, the more confidence it builds. Now, in terms of trading volume, we're still seeing significant activity. So this isn't a dump and die scenario, far from it. What we're witnessing is a healthy consolidation phase before the next push. And let's talk projections. If Bitcoin behaves, meaning dominance stays flat or drops, I personally believe we could see new yearly highs for XLM sooner than most expect. But keep your eyes on dominance. If that pushes up past 65.4%, which hasn't happened in over a week, we could see XLM dip further, maybe down to around 4.2. And honestly, even that wouldn't be the end of the world. That would be just a 10% move down, and in this market, that's mild. However, my gut, and more importantly the charts, tell me that Stellar's support will hold. Even if it dips a bit, the structure looks solid. What we might see is a period of sideways consolidation followed by another breakout, possibly pushing us to 64 cents, which is the next key resistance level. If we break through that, then we're talking about entering a pre-all-time high territory, and that's where the real fireworks could begin. The last time we saw these levels was back in 2022, and once we breach those resistance points, it opens the gates to a price discovery phase that could take XLM into entirely new zones. Here's what I want you guys to take away from this update. Despite Bitcoin dominance being over 64%, Stellar managed to retest 5.1. Just imagine what happens when dominance falls by even 5 to 10%. We're not even in full altcoin season yet. But when that time comes, coins like XLM could go parabolic. We've already seen a 129% increase for Stellar just in July, and we're only halfway through the month. So yes, expect corrections. Yes, expect consolidation, but also expect the unexpected, because when this coin breaks resistance, there's not much standing in its way. Here's what I'm watching in the short term. 41, strong support zone. If we hold this during consolidation, we're golden. 518, the recent high, needs to flip into support for a sustained move upward. 64 cent, critical resistance. Breaking this opens doors to the next leg. Bitcoin dominance needs to stay below 65.4% for altcoins to breathe. If you're trading, be cautious but confident. If you're long-term holding, this is where you stay calm, trust your research, and zoom out. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Are we just getting started with Stellar, or do you think we'll see another pullback before the next big push? Either way, strap in, because things are only going to get more exciting from here. Thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon so you don't miss the next market update. Until next time, stay safe, stay smart, and as always, stay bullish.